Hey guys, it's NetDorker here. This morning we had two competing live streams for games that kind of, compete for the same market share. They're both combat focused games. At least that is their main focus. They focus on, different real time combat, and that's in Wuthering Waves and ZZZ. And I gotta say, one of them turned out to be closer to a dumpster fire of a live stream, and the other one, I'm not gonna say it's great, but it was not. And I kind of just want to discuss and compare the two, and hopefully, someone somewhere hears my lone opinion and fixes the way they do things. The one that was closer to a dumpster fire was the Wuthering Waves live stream. Wuthering Waves has just been declining for a long time now, and it was frustrating to go through the live stream. It was the first one that I went through, and I like Wuthering Waves better as a game than ZZZ, but it's just been continually disappointing me. And went through it today, and it was just, I don't know what they're thinking with their live streams. What are they trying to get across? It seems like they're just trying to copy other people and what they do with their live streams, and not actually give, something good for us to enjoy. Now, I gotta say, between the two games, the two versions that will be coming out between these two games, the thing I'm most excited for is Wuthering Waves' new zone. It looks really cool. Hold my breath and knock on wood. It could end up being like the oh my gosh, can't even pronounce it. Fabritorium. I got that completely wrong. Fabritorium of the Deep, where it was really stupid. Like it was like Final Fantasy 13. It was all linear. You didn't really explore, and they gave you this big, huge ass map, for it to be pretty much nothing. So you never know with Kuro. They could throw you one of those again, but I'm hopeful that this is kind of like a big open, area that we can explore. Don't know how big it's going to be, but the biggest problem I have with this live stream is, first off, they gotta stop trying to copy Hoyo and Genshin. It's getting really frustrating. One of the best things about Wuthering Waves' original broadcasts is they were straight to the point, did everything you wanted, and that's exactly what ZZZ did today. They went straight to the point, but in Wuthering Waves, man, it was talk about like how great it's been. Let's unwind. Look at this beautiful set we made, with these 3D printed radios and objects around here. Isn't this cool? I don't give a shit, man. Just give us an update. And they spent so much time talking about it, and it was just kind of frustrating. And finally, they finally started to get into, the updates. What is coming, and that was the best part. Like, oh my gosh, finally we're through all this. Whereas ZZZ, there was a little bit of discussion between the main characters, introducing them, and then they're like, hey, let's see what's going on right away. And that is what I want from a live stream. Not all of this jargon BS about this amazing set you made, because I don't care, And even with them trying to copy Genshin Impact only does this for some of their major patches, not for a patch that I don't think anyone would argue is 100% a filler patch. There has not been a filler patch this filler since the anniversary. I mean, I mean, Wuthering Waves has had a lot of filler patches recently, but if we're gonna go really filler, yeah, you kind of have to go back a little bit. But it's just, man, who cares? Just get to the point, you know. And so that was the first thing that really frustrated me, and then the second thing that really bothered me after a really cool trailer and they show everything off, and of course, like I said, there was my skepticism as to whether or not that's an actual big open zone, or it's actually nothing. You know, they finally went into the zone and they talked about it. I was like, okay, cool. I hope it's, you know, really open world. That's really cool. But then they get to the character discussions, and when you compare the two, I don't care which character you're more looking forward to. If I had to make a choice, I would say for me it's Dylan, then Chisa, then Bonway. But that really has no bearing on this. The problem is over in the ZZZ live stream, they talked about the abilities, what they're going to be doing, how they're going to fit into teams, and then over in Wuwa, they spent the entire time glazing how cool Chisa's abilities looked. I have no freaking clue what Chisa is going to do for me and my team. Like I just don't have a clue. Like what why should I pull her when I have no clue what she's going to do for my team? And that was the frustrating thing. They just spent so much time talking about how cool looking she is, and she is. Like, don't get me wrong, she's really cool and she's cute at times. I think they did a great job animating her, but I don't know what she's going to bring to my teams. Like, what team do I want to use her with? Do I use her with Phoebe? Do I use her with do I use her with Carlotta? Do I use her? I mean, I don't have Frolova. I'm not a terrorist lover. Um, do I use her? Would I use her with her? Augusta? I don't know. I don't have a clue. And that was the main frustrating thought. And then they continue to go on with that with Booling. I have no clue what she's going to bring to my team. Not a clue. And that's a huge chunk of these live streams. There's both of the live streams. Huge chunk of them is them discussing the characters. That's the way it always is. But one showed me what value is coming to me in the game. The other one was like, nah, we're going to show you how cool our art department is. Like, we can see that. You don't need to explain that to me. That was frustrating. I hope in the future they're like, hey, you need to be using her with so and so characters with this and so forth, and she'll make a great addition to these teams. Not glazing over her cool animations. That's stuff we can just see. Let us be excited about that when we see it. You don't have to tell us to be excited about it. It was just frustrating. And then the second big thing that was kind of sad to see in the live stream is I want to say this is like the fourth or fifth. It's fourth or fifth consecutive patch with no, like, there's nothing to do in the game. Like, and there's not a big story to carry this one now. It's just there's nothing to do. Now, coming from someone who just finished, I haven't done ZZZ's 2.3 story yet, but I just did their, like, all the quest lines and the events that were prepared for patch 2.3. Took me forever, man. It's chock full. And then when you look at their 2.4 live stream, it's once again chock full. And now, don't get me wrong, some of these events I don't like at all. I just don't like the Bang Boo one. I really don't like the robot one. But they're massive events that can give you a lot of content. And then I look over at Wuthering Waves, and let's see, there's one big content coming that looks interesting, and then there's like a scavenger hunt event, and then they try to pretend Lalo Logistics is a good event, and it's not. It's garbage. I don't know. Like, they have this roguelike, I think, event going on that looks like it could be really interesting, and I hope it is. You know, but what should I expect? Are we gonna get a really good, like, continuing event, or are we gonna get like an absolute stinker like that weekly I can't even remember the name of it, the weekly recurring event that isn't even worth the rewards to do over and over again. It's just awful. I can't even think of it. Not Whimpering Ways, and of course not the tower, but it's whatever the third option is. It's, we don't know. Okay, I'm hoping for the best. Like, but I look back at things like the tower defense one that we had. That was awesome. That was so cool to go through, and yet they haven't brought that back in forever. And yet, I look over at ZZZ, and one of the events that they're bringing back is their. It wasn't one of the main events that they were focusing on, but one of the events that they're bringing back is that combat focused event where you can like trial characters, and you have to, there's like 8 stages, and then there's 8 hard mode stages. Why can't we get that in Wuthering Waves? You know, why do we constantly get these goofy side games that aren't good, and they don't even bring back the ones that were really good? Like, bring them back, man. It's frustrating. I wish Kuro would go out and do their own thing instead of looking over the river at Hoyo games. I'm not talking about ZZZ in this case. I'm talking more about Genshin, because I think that's who they try to emulate as much as possible, and keep trying to do those things with the funny banter in the middle of their live streams and so forth. Just get rid of it all. Do your own thing, man. Have some fun with it. And I hope that things turn around. We're going to be getting the 3.0 patch. It could be huge. We don't know. But like at this point, I'm not really confident in the direction Wuthering Waves is headed. It's especially with many other games coming out that are going to be dragging people's attention away consecutively. I think Wuthering Waves is going to be in serious trouble real soon. And, they started off the year phenomenal. We all know how good Rinsita was, and then it just continued to go downhill from there. It has. Like, the story arcs has been up and down, but it's gone downhill. The game as a whole has gone down from there. Just quick side note, the improvements are just continuing to be great. They do a great job of continuing to add in improvements to the game, which I do love. But that's not enough to carry the game. You've got to give us content and events, and specifically, you have to give us combat content in events. The game is centered on that combat aspect. You have to remember, I'm just going to leave with this. You have to remember that Wuthering Waves is very much like Genshin Impact. However, Genshin Impact was built off of the basis of what is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, okay? Which isn't necessarily a combat game. It is an exploration game, you know, filled with stories that had, at least at the time, really good combat and enjoyable combat to go with it. Wuthering Waves is a combat game with really good exploration. And if you continue to focus on other things, then the combat, the game's gonna struggle and fall apart. And I feel like that's the direction Wuthering Waves is in. And I don't know if anyone noticed it today. I didn't see many YouTubers talking about whether or not the whether or not they actually liked the live stream today or not. Been kind of busy all day, but I just kind of want to get this out there. I'm going to post my own reactions tomorrow, but I wanted to get this out there and kind of just give my thoughts and opinions. And I hope that Kuro looks at this and says, let's do our own thing. We can make it cool, and get to kind of the grassroots of the game, which is combat. I mean, you can change combat and whatnot all around and make it interesting, but they seem so focused on some of these mini games. Some of them you've made that are absolutely, I mean, they're absolute bangers. Just bring them back and transform them. One of the things ZZZ is bringing back one of their mini games, the Bang Boom mini game. I didn't really like it, but they've they haven't revamped it, but man, they added a whole bunch to it. New Bang Boos to bring in, new combos, you name it. And that event only came out like 2 3 patches ago. Like, bring back some of the stuff that was really entertaining in the past and add to it. Stop bringing out. Stop trying to sell me that Lalo Logistics is an event. Don't tell me that this treasure hunting BS that's kind of uh, introducing us to La Haroy is an event. No. Like, that was clear as day. You could see that that was going to be an event that just pushes you to log in every day. And I gotta say, I'm sad to admit it, but Wuthering Waves is one of the games recently that I've just kind of I'm not logging in every day. I have a date set on which I need to log in and make sure I've done like a huge chunk of events, which are fun. But I'm really kind of pissed off that you know logging in is a chore and there's nothing really entertaining. So I'm hoping for the best, but it's clear as day this morning. One live stream blew the other out of the water. I'm not necessarily saying that the ZZZ live stream was amazing. I thought it was comparatively well. No, I think just on average it was good, but it blew out of the water this Wuthering Waves live stream that I think was just dog shit. So hopefully they make a change. Who knows? We'll see what's coming. But that's going to be it. Just wanted to let that out there. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Neptorka out. See you guys.